this dastardly occasion. But Manhattan has been sealed off. The Hudson River bridges and the tunnels have been sealed. Clearly, there is an attempt right now to thwart any further act of terrorism, act of violence against the people of Manhattan. So Manhattan is in a lockdown. We've heard that phrase used in school shootings. We've heard that phrase used in jailbreaks. I can't recall ever having that phrase used with regard to a city the size of Manhattan. But Manhattan is in a lockdown. It is sealed off. The Hudson River bridges, the tunnels, the east side, the west side, the north, the south. Of course, we are an island here in Manhattan, has been sealed off. One can only guess that the U.S. Armed Forces is now in a state of high alert to prevent any planes or any other vehicular traffic in the air from impacting anywhere in Manhattan on civilian targets. We are a city under siege right now, and the United States of America is warding off any further terrorist threats.
Straight ahead as the timeline unfolds, President Bush, the target of the suicide attackers, that failed attempt coming up. With a moment-by-moment timeline of how the attack on America happened. Fox News has now learned from presidential aides that the president and the White House were both targets here, and that by 9:48 a.m. Eastern Time, the White House and the Capitol were evacuated.
The White House is being evacuated. That comes to us from one of our Fox producers in Washington. The White House is being evacuated, the Pentagon as well. It should be noted that there are sharpshooters on the roof of the White House who have anti-aircraft missiles for just this kind of situation, but the White House is being evacuated. Now, you know that President Bush is not there. He is at this moment in Florida, perhaps boarding Air Force One to prepare to return to the nation's capital. David Asman is joining us from Fox Central. David, what do you have?
John, we are hearing right now of another explosion that has taken place at the Pentagon. We have the heart of the financial district of America being attacked. Now we understand that there is an explosion, there has been an explosion in the Pentagon, the heart of the military command center of the United States of America, John. It can't get much worse than this, let's hope.
Brian Wilson, our Washington correspondent, is on Capitol Hill. Brian, what can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you that there was no increased security around the Capitol as I made my way into the building, but in the last few minutes we have seen a great deal of action around the city. There is smoke just across the river from the White House, not that far. And as you know, in the last few minutes, there are reports that the Pentagon has been evacuated and the White House is being evacuated. Clearly, you're seeing now these pictures from Washington, D.C. as we try to determine exactly what has happened there. But there was an early report of a plane perhaps going down in that area. These are early reports, and we are still struggling to confirm the information. But we can tell you that they're taking things very seriously in Washington in that they are apparently evacuating the White House and the Pentagon. Here at Capitol Hill, Laura Bush is now speaking with Ted Kennedy. A hearing that was scheduled for her to appear at has been canceled. We would be watching very carefully to see whether she is also asked to leave the Capitol and go to a safe place.
Yeah, Brian Wilson, the Capitol is being evacuated, we're told, and clearly that shot that we have on our screen now, this is the Pentagon just across the river from Washington, D.C. You got to believe that it has happened again. Another large airliner, perhaps hijacked, perhaps part of some widespread plan, apparently slamming into at least the area around the Pentagon, along with the World Trade Center in Manhattan, the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in Manhattan. The Sears Tower in Chicago is being evacuated. Clearly, authorities all over the country are trying to be prudent in this unbelievable catastrophe. 2 towers of the World Trade Center, 50,000 people who work in those buildings on fire, the fire out of control. Firefighters are going to take days, perhaps, to get this under control, but the Twin Towers on fire as after being slammed into by 2 jetliners earlier this morning. Let's go on to David Asman in Fox Central. David?
John, as we've mentioned before, our job right now, the job of the armed forces of the United States, is to prevent any further terrorist attack. As a result of that, not only is the city of New York in a lockdown status, all entrances to New York have been closed, all airports nationwide have been closed, but indeed the White House has been evacuated, the Pentagon, of course, having been struck by some terrorist act. We're not sure whether it was an aircraft, what kind of an aircraft, but clearly the devastation is visible on the right hand of your screen. The Pentagon is in flames, is engulfed in smoke, as is the World Trade Centers. The Sears Tower in Chicago has been evacuated. Again, no specific information about whether there was a threatened attack on that, but no one is taking chances at the moment. The White House has been threatened as well. This is a shot earlier of that second attack. You see that jet aircraft bursting into flames as it crashes into the World Trade Center within 20 minutes of the other Trade Center tower having been attacked as well. Once again, the nation, as we speak, is under lockdown. Our armed forces are taking all necessary precautions to prevent another attack. Those include closing all United States airports as a result of this attack, as you see there, one that occurred about an hour ago, and an attack in the Pentagon as well. We are a nation under lockdown, and once again, we are prepared for the worst, but we are prepared. John?
We are looking at live pictures of the World Trade Center literally starting to crumble. It is falling apart as we watch these pictures live. The World Trade Center, 110 stories, literally starting to fall.
When we come back, the unthinkable happens. The second tower collapses. The death toll rises. Leaders call, pulled in, and at the same time, risking their own lives.
David Lee, what can you tell us?
John, the scene is horrific. One of the two towers literally collapsed. I was making my way to the foot of the World Trade Center. Suddenly, while talking to an officer who was questioning me about my press credentials, we heard a very loud blast, an explosion. We looked up, and the building literally began to collapse before us. There was debris falling, I'd say at least three-quarters the height of the building. People within the entire perimeter began literally, including myself, which is why I'm out of breath, to run for our lives. And I am now standing in a black cloud of smoke left over from the debris. There's soot. It's difficult to breathe. People ran into nearby office buildings once they got out of the danger zone just to be able to breathe. I'm on a payphone on the street right now, and I literally cannot see more than a quarter block away.
Everything just all of a sudden just imploded. I ran as fast as I could, went inside of a building about a block away. I stood in the building for a couple of seconds, and then all of a sudden the building started filling up with smoke. I was with a bunch of law enforcement officers. We couldn't get out of the building because everything was locked up. And then I came out, and everything was filled with ash, and it looks like I'm in a surreal movie.
Are you able to talk? Can we just talk to you about what happened?
I was exploded.
You were right there at the building?
Yes, how many people trapped? You're right.
A lot of people trapped. EMT. This guy needs help. You came down from the 77th floor.
77th floor, down the stairs.
Down the stairs.
Yes.
What was happening around you? People screaming?
No, people were pretty calm. When we got down to 6th floor, there was like another shake or another explosion. Everyone started panicking, but everybody was really calm, and the police and firemen were very helpful.
Which of the two towers were you in?
One, Trade Center 1.
All right. And when you got to the ground, then what?
It's like rubble and dust, like inches thick, and like paper everywhere, and they just moved us out.
We look up and we see this big jet, like a 737 or a 727.
It was a 757?
About that, it was a big jet.
Yeah.
We saw it come just looking like it's sideways. At first, we thought it was just going to try to miss it. Bang! Right into the middle of it, like around the 70th floor. And then half hour later, we see the second one bang into it. We're on the roof of it. We're a block away. I mean...
What's going through your mind when you see this happen?
You see bodies flying out of the sky and you can't do nothing about it. You tell me. You tell me what you think. I mean, my heart's in my mouth. I mean, I pray for these people. There's no words to describe what's going on out there.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. Oh.
When it comes down, we're
All right. We do need to put it down now. I think we need to put it down now. Here we go.
It is hard to describe, folks. The pictures show what has happened in Lower Manhattan, but we don't have a handle